Okay. Recording in progress. That's what it says. Okay, so I wondered so I titled it Formula of Our Echo. And if someone would like, got any thoughts on those words and reflection, what it means to them, I just thought we'd get a variety of different perspectives of what words or where we're at and how we look at it. And then by that time, while we ramble about that, Cara may pop in and we'll hit it off, eh? This sounds very organised, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It was a big brief, Gabrielle.
You know what comes straight to me is actually something I was saying to Rochelle today, and it was the more I fall in love with myself, the more I fall in love with Fergal.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice.
Oh yeah.
Man, we can stop there. That's a nice nice advice for the night for everybody. Stop recording.
Done.
Yeah. Such a true fact, though, eh?
Yeah, that's what the title reminds me of.
Okay. Yeah. Anyone willing to top that? No. I still want to get. Everyone's got their own top perspective. I'd still like to get.
I knew I wanted to go first before anyone else.
Yeah, me too.
Fear of missing out.
Okay. What's happening in here is being reflected in the echo out.
Yeah. Rochelle, you're pretty same, or have you got?
Yeah, I second that. That was like the first thing that, like, it feels like that call out is echoed back.
Yeah.
You know, that yeah.
Nice. Well, Sheena.
What first came up for me was that the formula that we may have created over many lifetimes or other dimensions is actually, has formulated a belief system, and that belief system echoes through our awareness and our expression and our experience until we choose to actually reform, to basically neutralize all our formulas.
Nice. Yeah, no, totally makes sense. Pretty much all on the same page, just delivered in different perspectives. And I suppose that's probably what I wanted to grasp, because mine the same. When I got the formula of the echo, I think it came in some writing or something, and I thought that's a really good way of looking at it. And literally what you said, Gabrielle, was exactly that mirror image of where we're at with ourselves. The more you love you, the more you love Fergal, because it's mirroring that space, same. And same with the depth of where we are is reflected in every, if you've got dimensions or whatever you want to play in, but it's all rippling out. And I like the neutralizing too, Sheena. Not that, I mean, it is what it is, but I think the neutralizing, especially in, with what's going on in the world and having a vast opinion on one side and a vast opinion on the other, and the art is to be neutralized in the middle without any opinion at all.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
Which is a great segue really into what initiated the call.
Yeah, which is why what I'm feeling we can start kicking off, because I actually think Cara won't be too far away, and she can pick up from where we are, I think, because otherwise we could chat for another, But let's kick off because it does flow. Let's go.
If you can find it.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Okay, Gabrielle, since you initiated the call, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Go.
So I suppose I initiated it because I noticed that I could see myself, and actually the words Sheena used were beautiful. I could see that I wasn't neutral on the whole concept of getting the jab or not getting the jab, and I just I noticed I had a bit of a thing around it, and I just wanted to come back to that place of neutrality. So I was curious about what was stopping me from flowing back, and
we know you are the stoppage. So, but my thing, My thing is, where do you sit now with the perspective of getting or having an opinion on the jab? Yes, yay or nay?
Well, I feel like, where do I sit? I can hear myself say, look, if I have to have it, I'll have it. But I and that's fine. But then I'm like, oh, is it really fine? Will I really be fine? Or do I have some fear around it? And I probably do. I have probably bought into a little bit of the fear narrative around it. And there's also an aspect of me that doesn't like being told what to do. So, yeah, I think it's a combination of the two.
What's your other feedback on that? Dr. Parsons.
I was interested to know the fear you bought into. Was that the fear of getting sick if you didn't have it, or the fear of having it?
Yeah, no, I don't have any fear around getting sick. It's more the fear of having it and what the, there's, the whole narrative about there being a potential negative agenda associated with whatever's contained within the vaccine. So it's the fear around that piece.
So it's the story you're compiling around that.
Yeah.
Because honestly, it's nothing to, like I said, if we're in a great place with ourselves, we could drink petrol, right, and be okay. So literally, and like I said to someone, and we've discussed it over here, there's a lot of people doing some hardcore drugs or like pee or whatever, and their body goes to what we would consider ruins, and deteriorates, and then all of a sudden they decided to stop abusing their body, and it facilitates a healing modality that kicks in, and they can look very healthy. So my big thing is that it's that trusting that body has the ability, no matter what, to know how to look after itself, how to heal itself. And are we empowering that play? We also have a choice. Oh, we don't. It's still a choice. And I'm a great example, because at the end of the day, if I want to see my husband at this point in time, the easiest way is to go and get some jabs and then try and get a ticket and fly home, which is kind of interesting in itself, because it doesn't mean I'm going to get a ticket. It doesn't mean I'm going to get a flight, because there's so much blockages on those, to get back. So for me personally, at this point, I can't be bothered. I haven't got a story, yay or nay, because I think any narrative you can give 100% convinced on one side, 100% convinced on the other side. But I think both of those, if we look at both of those, they can both be fear-based. So there's people driving not to have it, and they'll be saying, because it's got this, or, whatever that considers. And then you've got these ones saying you've got to have it because, and they have a fear of, they may be sick, this. But to me, that both components have fear-based. They're both the same. There's not one that's nor the other, and that's where that neutral position comes. Like, it's finding that if I choose to have it in the end, or whenever I choose to have it, right here, right now is where I'm at. So I'm not even giving any thought into that space until that space turns up.
Yeah, beautiful.
And that way, don't get me wrong, there's shit stories I could really whack out of the ballpark, and but I just think every time I think like that, I think, well, I can back it something else, someone else's belief is, you know what I mean? Like it's just everything we give power to, and I think it's almost eliminating. So the most topic conversation, I think, even like Murray said last night, and we discussed, is that everyone goes up I said it, Chris's went there, and they said, have you been jabbed? And I was like, no. Like, no. But that's the first question most people are asking now. So how do you shift that in a consciousness? Now that's my question. How do we shift the narrative in consciousness to make it almost take care of itself and disappear itself like the dinosaurs do? So you know what I mean? Like it's getting into a place from that frequency. Well, why we keep feeding the story and just not being present here now, we're actually like, that's the compost to the soil, that's feeding all that stuff. And it's every second thing is about a vaccine, and even conversations we have, we have to shake ourselves up. And I mean, we have too many conversations about it. It's just do something else. Talk about a pimple or something else, or I don't know, gosh, just I don't know, but I think the more we keep it in conversation, the more intense it gets. If consciousness is a choice and a reality to play in, well, why not fill the void and play in it, and just friggin' give it as much energy and space so it can do its own thing naturally, and give the world a shake up and do whatever it needs to do. The earth shook the other day in Melbourne, and we can say whatever you believe, but if you're looking from the conscious,
we all talked about something different for a day.
Yeah. But you talk. But the thing is, consciousness, if it's on an energy or a metaphysics form or a frequency form or whatever words you want to give it, that's affecting the field. Is the field not? Is that not the formula of our eco?
Yeah. Yeah, really like that. Yeah, I had a moment today, following on from a conversation yesterday. I had a chat to a friend who we were going away with for the weekend, and she found out I wasn't going. So I had a conversation with her today, and she basically said to me straight out, "I don't agree with your opinion," which was quite interesting because I hadn't given an opinion. My only thing was I hadn't been vaccinated. So I sort of immediately felt into it. And I decided that I wasn't going to have a divisive conversation about this side or that side or whatever reasons, but rather I just responded, I honour and respect everybody's choices to make the right decision for themselves. And that felt, I hope that it wasn't intended as a judgment on what she was saying, but I felt like that was sort of neutralising it for me, and hopefully therefore it would ripple through, that I wasn't taking sides. I was rather holding space for everything. And from that, it flowed on that we agreed that even if I don't go, we'll pay, because it was agreed to do this right at the beginning of the year, that Rob and I would pay our part of the whole thing. She's had to pay the whole lot and it's not refundable. So I agreed that we'd pay for two of us to go, even though I wasn't going. And afterwards, I felt a little bit of sadness, but then my heart just went whoosh, and it was all okay. I returned to love, and I feel that love is the neutralising force in all of this.
And in a different plate of that too, Sheena, for me, because it's I'm not, I think it's the variety of fields, and you brought up a different field then, so it's kind of like the other field of that is that you're already naturally living that. There's nothing to do and even worry or think about that next, or trusting that thought to neutralize or do anything. Do you know what I mean? It's that's just being, is it? But once we get into too much thought, we then separate, then it gives sides, as in the frequency. So which would take me into the bigger scale of the thing would be, it's more about division of humanity that that plays, than worrying about everyone's focused on a vaccine. Hey, Cara, if you come in muted, so just unmute yourself and join in whenever. We're really just skimming over Gabrielle's Vax playground choice, maybe not, yes, who knows.
Yeah.
Cool. So
awesome.
so for me, Gabrielle, my thing is how present are you to the moment, or you're worrying about tomorrow? Not ignorant to the reality that is available. There is a tomorrow, and but I think just a perspective of, are you already in tomorrow?
Yeah. And it's funny, when you spoke before, Al, what resonated was the fear that my body wouldn't be able to heal itself. So it's definitely future orientated. Because right now, here, I'm like, I'm completely fine.
Yeah, and that fear with the ability would come to the emotion of past traumatic experiences triggering that. But the reality of but the reality of that is there is no past. So it's the memories that you're giving energy to that formulate it into now.
Yeah.
You made a so the story of you, even that when we talk about it, we know it exists. It's really no, she probably can explain it more in different terms, but the past, present, future, null, void memories is an interesting thing, and we give them too much power, and they then have so much more energy and control. But if you're present, there is no memory.
Yeah. And it's like I'm sitting here going, like I'm not even conscious that I'm giving that memory energy. Like it's not like I'm sitting here and dwelling on it. It's like, yeah.
No. So how about we look
at
it?
It makes sense. What you've just said, it makes sense.
But you've just triggered a thought of me. So how about we play from that experience as an experience that's had an experience, right? And it's and it's in the whole field.
Mm-hmm.
So it buzzes away at a frequency, and then you've just in this space and matched that frequency. So then all of a sudden, boof, bang, you know what I mean? You become play that game. But instead of being the witness to that experience was whatever, but this here now, you're like, where am I? I'm sitting here talking, chatting, whatever. Giving. I know that's been on my mind. Thoughts been playing on my mind a bit. Memories have been, as in memories. How much power we give to them to keep them alive when they're not even there, really. I mean, then you can contrast that, because everything, like we say, anything you want to Google, you'll find the opposite. But, so you can contrast that and say the whole field's alive and it all exists, and blah, 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 and multidimensionals. And, you can go down that significant, which is all valid. But I'm saying, where do you want to play from? Which room do you want to play in? Because this house has 10 rooms and you're only playing in one, your lounge and your toilet, or you know what I mean? So, just be aware of which room we're playing in. Not you're limiting it to the toilet instead of the kitchen, where where you can cook up a good feed or something. Do you know what I mean? You get that? Understand? Does that make sense? Yeah. Cleaned out. Bless. Doctor down in the corner here. So it's obviously moving, because there's a hell of that's got some stuff going.
Yeah.
So with awareness to the emotion that it's triggered and that stuff, how does that feel in your body now, talking and reflecting, compared to 5 minutes ago when we were?
Yeah, I feel good. I feel a lot more expansive and just relaxed.
Yeah. Nice.
Like there's no life-threatening situation occurring right here.
I don't know. We're talking. Is the ground not moving for you?
I missed that. I've got visitors.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Did anyone else? Hey, team. Did anyone else have feedback on that?
Hi.
Hey, boys.
I just can add something which I heard Sandra Walter mention the other day, and I thought that was quite
Hey, Virgo, we're just getting the family in here first. The evening team.
Looks like we're all joining. So sorry, Sheena, continue.
You were saying, Sheena?
Sandra Walter was on her webinar, Equinox webinar, was talking about the vaccination and about holding the neutrality of it. And her offering was, if you decide to have it, make sure that you've got complete a coherent frequency rather than a conflicting frequency. So if you decide to have the vaccine, you decide to have the vaccine, and you're no doubt, you just go in and you trust it, and you trust your body will deal with it. If you go in with a conflicted frequency of should I or shouldn't I, that's where it could actually have some effect on you. So I think it's probably the same as what you're saying, Ali, just in a different way. But I really like the way that she framed that.
Yeah. I kind of did that with Tyler as well. I said, Tyler, you make a choice, and when you know, make a choice that's right for you, and don't doubt it.
Yeah.
And you know, and the whole thing is, as we know, if thought is a creative playground, it's only what we're feeding it that makes it so.
Yeah.
But sorry, go.
Oh, there's something popped in yesterday which I jotted down, which was perception is the mother of creation. And that really stuck with me. So I'm playing with that at the moment.
Yep. My big thing is, I like what you said, but my big thing is in the space of where we are, like, and this is just in this playfield, because I think that reality of go in there, yes, you're okay, or choose no, you're not okay, and you know, that's fine. But to be in that space all the time without even having to think like that, that's the ultimate space. Do you know what I mean? Because as soon as we bring up a thought, a contrast, or a way to think, the divisions just get further and further and further away. Although that's what makes life, is all those fragments that are all firing and wiring, you know, and in chaos. So, I mean, there's no right way or wrong way to play it, but I think you're right. Just make a decision, and if it comes to that point, and just do what's right for you. But I think if you have to sell it, like, I've done this, and I think you should do this for, because of the other vulnerable people. If you're having to sell something like that, there is fear-based energy carried with the formula, and this is what we're sending out to the world, for the world to, you know, fertilize and grow. And that, you know, I had one the other day where they said, oh, it's for the grandchildren, I'm so worried about the grandchildren, we're doing it for the grandchildren. Well, if you're going in there with that energy, you're piling that energy of fear into, if we call, futuristic moments when those grandchildren are going to grow into the consciousness energy, which is going to be filled out what you've just poured into that. So every moment is valuable in our awareness of how we're functioning, speaking, playing. Good title, Formula of Echo, because that's literally what it is. And I think it's the whole thing with it's not only those ones selling it that, it's those ones that are really anti it and saying, I've got this in it, this in it, this in it, this in it. You are still filling the void with that anger, or, you know, that same energy that's functioning from this side as it is from this side, and it's pouring into the whole consciousness, and the consciousness is going like, oh shit, you know, this is what you're all asking for. Yet it doesn't look like that to somebody who's pretty passionate. And but I think if you get to a point in the playground that we're choosing, the room or the house that we're playing in tonight, would be that if we could just realize that there is no right way or wrong way choices anyway, and try and get back into our, without focusing too much, but just getting in and having your cup of tea and enjoying that, and knowing that that is going straight back into the field, you know. And yeah, that's where I think the big misses out of all this. The big miss is that I'm an avid, I like to know all the nitty grits of bitten down the rabbit hole and shit, and I can totally back that side of the story for why I don't want to get this stuff. But the reality is, I also know on the other side, they're just the same. If I wanted to go down their rabbit hole, I could buy into their story and have that backing as well. There's no right or wrong. It's just a choice in the way I play, but I'm not attached to that field. I like, and I'm curious about it, and I'm not attached to this field. I probably don't actually like that, and I haven't been curious about it, but I really don't care, because at the end of the day, if that moment came, I'd make that choice, like you say, and just go with that choice. But at this point in time, I don't have to because it's not relevant. And I think that's just keeping that space of, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So my question is, what are you feeding? What's your echo at this point in time? Maybe that's something that we could reflect over.
Mm. And if you're talking to me, Al, then definitely I think, you know, previous illnesses is what it was reflecting back for me.
But previous illness wasn't experienced. There's no, you know, even if you took out previous as a word and just used illnesses, it wasn't experience. It still isn't experience if someone chose to have it. But really, is it your choice? Right here, right now?
Am I choosing it right here, right now? No, thank you.
Yeah. No. So very much past text. That's a tense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But because we give it energy, we pour that back into the whole field, and that's what I'm trying to share and understanding is when we're not present and we're living in past tense or future tense, we're pouring that energy into the field, which is making the chaos that is creating the reality that we sit here and go, what the fuck? Yet it's not really what the fuck, because it's, this makes sense to me. You know, like, have you seen how people, like when you listen to someone who talks or whatever, and you just say, that energy is going straight back into the field. If they don't know, if they're getting frustrated with their phone or if they get frustrated, that energy is piling back into the field and it's just rippling back at us and it's kind of coming through whatever, maybe protests, whatever. You know, there's just, and you know, how to, this is where the faith and trust and belief comes, is like, and this is the whole new field where I reckon we're stepping into, which is really exciting, is that we're going to a point of, if you want to dominate a new reality, like, you know, the new reality or new world, whatever you want to call it, and it wants to play from this awareness of thought energy creation, because people they're just dipping their toes into this sort of stuff. There's a lot of people that are living it, but there's a lot of people that are dipping their toes, but they're not fully living it. If you want that to switch over, you've got to have something chaos like this to shake the fuck out of you, because it's going to make you think, well, if we don't give that any energy, it doesn't matter what decision we make and we can move on. And, you know, things or all of a sudden, oh, you won't need vaccines anymore. That'll just appear from nowhere. Or, oh, we're going to open the borders and everyone can fly. And you don't know about, you know, we don't know what the whole thing is, having faith in the unknown, really, but how we are affecting the whole field. Bit of a spill and ramble, lost my cord and came back out. But anyway.
Yeah. So what came in then was, for me, Ali, the question, what am I potentializing? You know, when am I putting my energy to? What am I potentializing? Because I can potentialize the past if I pull it back into the present. And what do I want to potentialize?
And I think that's a good question for many people that aren't consciously aware. But I think when you stop asking questions and then when you just start being, and there's a curiosity, like you, Sheena, the curiosity and stuff, absolutely, because it's an enjoyable playground, as long as we're not attached to it to be a solid playground and the only playground. I think there's I like the question as a trigger, but my art would be to not even have to question and just get it. Just get it in each cup of tea sip. And I know for some people that's a process, but what I'm saying is in today's world it's available without any effort.
Yeah.
Cara.
Oh, sorry, I just got distracted by the bird on Rochelle's shoulder.
I saw her getting excited. I was going, oh, she's look at that. Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah, no. Cool. Otherwise I wouldn't have missed it. I was just like in the zone.
Yeah. It's all good. I'm really enjoying it.
No, I was actually just wondering where you sat with it. Like what if I asked you what's formula of our echo, what does it mean to you?
Sorry, what was that? Formula
of our echo.
Formula of our eco. I don't really know.
Don't think, just feel it. If even use you, we are a formula of our eco. How does that feel?
I feel like it's sort of like we're creating what we see, we're creating what's around us. Yeah. That's the first thing that popped in. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because that's what literally the whole basis of now. I think this is just putting words into a way of what we always discuss and we already have played over and over and over again. But it's just, I think we're really getting into the fine nitty-gritties of the shift of understanding if we were to label it as a frequency formula of being and how it affects the playground, the whole field.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's cool.
Mm.
Yeah, I like that.
Next. Look, Vanessa, you're sitting there now. I can feel you.
I'm happy. I'll just share my journey with the whole vaccine thing because it fits in with a whole lot of things that we've sort of discussed.
Yep.
So when it first, all started to play out, I must have been in quite a good space because I just held it in the space of, all I know is it's not right. I don't want to go and have it now.
Yeah.
So, and that was I didn't have.
Whoops. Did she
There was
take
no
off?
past. It was just a.
Okay.
You're right. Am I back?
Yep. Go for it.
It was just clear that right now in this moment I'm not having it.
Yep.
And then somewhere along the line I started to get pulled into needing to have a story. An attachment to something, and that attachment to me became more to the not wanting to get vaxxed side of it, and I could feel the difference for me once I stopped, when I played in that space, and so very much I didn't want to have it, and I was building evidence for why I didn't want to have it. And I was so in my mind thinking about it and building up my story and why I shouldn't have it and that I would have a reaction to it because my body reacts to everything. So, there's that thought, bringing in that past thought to the point where it was really doing my head in. And I just couldn't get back to any presence about it. And I did have a quick conversation with Ali the other day on messaging. And I realized that what was interesting for me was that needing to have a story for me was about needing to belong, that I felt I needed to belong, and that what I was being driven by was my need to belong to something, to a group. And that what was probably driving that need to belong was my fear that I wasn't enough. That was what felt was driving my need to belong. And once I realized that, I felt more different about it. So now I feel I'm a bit more in that space of I just know I'm not going to have it now, and I'm not saying I'm not going to have it, and I'm not saying I am going to have it. Yet what I know is if I wake up tomorrow and I get that feeling that's like every cell in your body says go and have the vaccine now, then I would go and have it.
Nice. Nice. And if it's all an illusion, I just want to throw that into it. If it's all an illusion, we should be able to take anything. It's kind of. I think like I said at the beginning, we had a discussion, and there's some hard people that are taking some hardcore shit out there, and they survived. My big thing today was, I was out for a walk and I was in my zone, obviously, or quite off my zone. I don't know what I was in, but I was walking. And this bike come past me, and I went, like shit, that was like, it just gave me a break. I must be so in my little, but it felt like it just so close. And I'm sitting there going, and people are worried about a fucking vaccine.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of other shit going on in the world, like that. But it's not going to be solved, and it could be solved in 5 minutes, but the way it's playing at the moment, it seems to be playing in 6 minutes. I know. How do you well, what's happening in Melbourne at the moment? So how much time can you get out and about, and what's the change of lifestyle over there? Is it still pretty locked down?
So it's meant to be 15 Ks, is that right? I'm not too sure.
I love it.
Yep. Yeah.
Approximate estimates of what we think's going on. Yeah.
I think you can spend more hours outside if you're vaccinated. Is that right?
You can have picnics with 5 people if you're vaccinated.
Okay.
The kids are home from school. That's about all I know.
Oh. So how long have they been home from school now?
Forever.
Right. Yeah.
Got a while. More time home this year than at school by a landslide.
So homeschooling's an option for you now?
Depends how you play it.
Yeah.
Right, Vanessa?
Yeah. How are you going then mentally, Rochelle? Like
mentally overall, most of the time, pretty damn good. Interesting though, like physically, like I've had a lot of physical pain coming up the last few weeks for me to look at, which has really revolved around slowing down and taking care of myself. And just, huge, so many aha moments of just, literally sitting out on the deck, because that's like where I do my processing at night. And having so many childhood memories go through like flashcards really quickly, and just understanding, like where a people-pleasing habit has come from, and understanding like and feeling compassion for that little girl and stuff, and seeing it, and then kind of shifting things, but a lot of that. And so that's been going on. And the conversation we're having, it's obviously it's a big play at the moment, and it's just kind of like 90% of the world are playing a game of Monopoly. I'm just like, what else?
Oh, look, a guy described it as a fucked up game of Cluedo. I think he pretty much nailed it, Like, dude,
right?
I love that. It's, but then in reflection, if we're looking at the echo, it's like, how fucked up are we inside our head and our way of thinking and our actions, and where we're all misaligned? You times that by every human and throw it out into the universe and consciousness, and then look at it. That's what I mean. You can't really be surprised, can you? Like, seriously.
Not surprised.
Curious. Like, to me, well, I'm over. I suppose even curiosity's gone. It's because it's like, this makes fucking sense. There's so much. It does though. Like, if you think about all the people you talk to, and you listen to this story, and how many are, I'm looking from the field of the kitchen. I'm playing in the kitchen here. But I feel I'm observing the whole house. But I must say, I use my own, I've got my own dishes that I'm using to view this from. But it's just like, you listen to our storytelling, and you listen to everything, and then you watch someone's story and then their actions, or listen to their story and they're in contrast the whole time and it's like, you can so see why it's like that out there in the world. But to try and explain that to someone that's only playing one field of thousands of fields, it's not worth it. Is it worth it? It's just got to come to peace, and like you say, play that. Well,
we saw it like with Trump. We saw it, and then we saw it with there were a few things in a row. And it was like it just escalated. There was gay marriages, there was Trump, there was one of these issues that were really dividing people. And then it just seems to have got bigger and bigger.
I think that's a bigger thing. And the understanding of, that division in humanity, which would be more my concern than a virus, that field alone is how. So if we take it from a frequency and consciousness scale of what you guys know and what we've shared, and if we're functioning from gratitude, acceptance, and love, people that are down and it's not down, but just playing in the room of density of anger and frustration or judgment, the frequency up here is like, what is it, 600 or whatever, 700, and that's only sitting at 20 or 30. So the more that play up there, the field's got to clean itself out eventually. Do you know what I mean? And it's just being consistent and not but also not hard on yourself when you fall into that field. You know, it's
That's
okay
true.
to be angry, just don't pitch your tent there.
Yeah, totally. I've been loving the juicy conversations and the random uplifting conversations with people as well. Like, you know, the kind of basic humanity. It's, you know, when people bring up, when it was a while ago, but like the vax and stuff, you know, and when before it becomes a like discussion, it, you know, my truths are like, you know, every mom wants their kids healthy and every, you know, and then you start just going down that and they're like, there's just this like aha in the conversation and they're like, yeah, like, yeah, we just all want to be human, be happy. And another random.
Yep. Go for it.
Just for me, it's like I can feel my spirit nudging me towards like even more random extreme behaviors. But it's funny because it bubbles up in like wanting to dance in the grocery store, you know, like it's so shockingly weird, but you know what I mean? But it's just so naturally life. And it's like, we just need to see more of that because it's just like.
Yep. I did that down the main highway with my granddaughter. She was doing some moves and stuff and she goes, do this. And so we were booging down the highway and doing, who's a pretty out there moves. Yeah, probably R18 for an 8-year-old move, you know, like they look, but she's just very suggestive in her mannerisms. So I was trying to keep up with that and enjoying that moment. But I think that's it. I think I think the biggest thing for me is we take this life so fucking serious, you know? It's just, it's chill the fuck out. You come and you go. Don't get too fucking attached. Like seriously, even in a love and gratitude frequency, don't get too attached. They're playgrounds. You know, they're an experience to be had. As we're having our experience, that experience is being had. It's sharing its field. You know, and it's no wrong way. And you know about how you said about everyone just wants to look after, and that's what people are, you know, when I look at the people that are wanting the vaccines, that's exactly their mental thought capacity of this is how they think they're going to look after, and it's absolutely correct to them and to a lot of, you know, and to backing of, if you want to go down that field, there'll be lots of evidence to do that. But, you know, the main core thing is what they think is to help keep people healthy and safe, which is no different to somebody who wants to build up their immune system to keep everybody healthy. So just two different perspectives, two different rooms, the bedroom and the lounge, you know, that's just the same. So that's where I think I could then sit back and go, yeah, they're still doing what they, you know, and like we know there's no wrong or right, but they are functioning from here, from the, you know, from heart. It's just a different way of playing it. But I think when you're so attached to it and you've got to defend it and you aren't at peace somewhere along the line with some aspect of the game and life, which is our attachment, which keeps us here and keeps us real. And, you know, I mean, I wouldn't be here if I was not attached, you know. Probably, I don't know if I'm here anyway, but yeah. Cara, you got any feedback? What's happening in your world towards that sort of play?
I guess I had a question, but I've been having.
Yeah, go for it. No, go for the question.
Can I do my question? Oh yeah, okay. So my question was, I guess it's a bit personal because so how does that play with like someone who doesn't want it, but they've been told by their work that if they don't have it, they'll lose their job?
Yeah, well, it's somewhere where they come to peace with what's their concern. Look, honestly, the more people that don't buy into that, you can say a field will create a change. There is the other alternative. They're angry and they're fucked off and that, then they're still carrying that energy into that field, so they're still facilitating into the field. The thing is, where can you be at peace with it? If you choose not to, as an opportunity to shift and change your way of play, is it a growth? Is it you can look down that field of perspective. There's also that are tied to the attachment of life, which you will find finances, relationships, that, you know, all that sort of stuff. They're the strings that show you where you are really attached to in life, and so you'll play and go and get all those things done, and that doesn't help the energy field in the future either, because you're actually attaching that control, manipulation, and not living your, you know, abiding by this to get something out. So you're feeding the field with all that. So this is where the whole field, that's where Sheena was talking about, that be okay with your decision without that going on. But the reality is how do you want your future? If you had a choice, because it is already heaven on earth, it's just we're not living it fully.
Yeah.
So if you want heaven on earth, would you play in hell? Not that there's a hell and heaven anyway, on whatever, into, you know, whatever depends, zeros to some, you know, whatever. But just using word terminology in two different fields doesn't matter which choice you choose. It's really the frequency, the formula of our echo, which we keep, you know, reiterating.
Yeah. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So in other words, there's no way I'm giving you a fucking decision, but you know.
Yeah. Well, like, I don't have to make it, but it's yeah.
But with a bit more awareness, and you know, if you're going to go into work being angry every day, look, who knows? 24 hours, everyone might convert and say, "Oh, well, go get jabs." Actually, that was the right thing to do. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no at this point of the game of life, I feel, I'll throw it out there, I feel that it's the point of no different to the Y2K, the bird flu, the wars, everything. We've got a point in consciousness that we get a chance to kick out to this euphoria, this amazing whole different field to play in. But are we so attached that we're going to keep it and we'll just recycle and chuck out? It really doesn't matter, because if you've got that space already playing in you, you'll enjoy life no matter whether you're in prison or whether you're in a garden. But my big thing is that I think we're at that point. We're at that tipping scale of great choice in consciousness, great shift. But I also think the game's already won and we're just playing it out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah. Other than that, did you have feedback on that other stuff we were chatting, or you're just happy with the?
Yeah, I mean, the vaccine's been a big trigger for me. But I really liked what Vanessa said about the belonging, and then that resonated. And I've sort of bought into the fertility side of it. And that story. But it's been a dual experience, because in a lot of ways, like, I wake up in the morning and I feel excited, and I don't know, it's just this.
Yeah, it is an exciting time. You're right. It's a really exciting time. It's just that we can't see it through the glasses that we're choosing, I suppose. How peaceful are you with the whole feel of it? If you like, as in the fertility side of it, because that's obviously.
Well, it came up yesterday because Marcus got an email from one of his jobs that he had to have an appointment booked by 15th of October, which is my birthday, which is interesting too. Or not, I don't know. Doesn't matter.
Love it.
So what happened for me was I felt physically sick. Like, I felt like I wanted to throw up, because I was like, he doesn't want it, but he's also not attached to it. Like, he'd go and get it if he had to, you know, he's not. But he felt that the email was yuck. He goes, it feels really yuck. And that's how I felt. Like, I felt sick. Like, it was asking, my thing was, it felt like it was a big ask. And I've processed a lot of it. I can feel that sick feeling a little bit now, but so that was,
Okay, so your big ask, the big ask emotion that you just felt then, is what's that relate to? Because I take fertility out of it, because it's deeper than that. You know, you know, the big ask, if you go read that, was it more about the non-choice? I'm suggesting, I don't like suggesting, but that's what's playing.
Sure. It was to do with the medical procedure aspect of it. Like it's different. I felt like it's different to saying you have to wear this pair of shoes or whatever. It was, I don't know. It was that.
Okay, so go with the medical procedure. I'm just curious. Go with the medical procedure. So if you can just visualize the needle and the bits and pieces and that sort of scenario, can you get a feeling around that experience? Is it in the vial, or is it as it goes into your body?
As it goes into the body.
Okay, so you know the story about where we've shared with Gabrielle about knowing that your body is a temple and it has the power to heal itself and it knows what it's doing. What do you doubt your body? Or why do you doubt your body? Just out of curiosity, you know. Do you believe your body can heal itself?
I just have this belief that I wouldn't be able to clear it, like it would stick to me. And
cool. So what I'm saying, so you've got two formulas running, contrasting. So that's where the comes from, because they're banging heads, because you know your body's totally capable, but you also have this doubt that if it did happen to me, would I be able to do it? Is that right? Is that how it feels? Like, are they the two comparisons?
Like I feel like other people would be able to, but I wouldn't be able to.
So there's your thing. So there's that, and when you feel into that and align with that and live that, it'll automatically shift that. Because you have the full capacity. I think that I've had, you know, I can say that myself, you know, friggin' sinus or whatever's going on, you know, I'll take a tablet, whatever. And that's, you know, external stimulant. It still worked. Well, I trust it's working. So, but I know what you're saying about the little doubt and then our words, and they're the two different frequencies. So when they're not aligned, and we're adding that to the field, we're adding to that confusion field, eh? But my big thing is for you, great trigger. But I actually think that's your fertility thing's not an issue. It's that it's your belief about what your body can do is the more core to it. I think that would actually take your fertility out of the way, because fertility to me is a formula from an already awesome body. Do you know what I mean? An awesome body or an awesome mind. Not that, and it's trusting whether it is or not having attachment to it, because that would affect the field as well, or, you know, bits and pieces. Just they're all variants, something to consider. Don't take it as gospel, but just something to consider. I was just curious about what you put into. So I was actually, as I'm talking, I'm getting a reflection of our conversation of preparing a body before pregnancy when it's already perfectly okay. Same, different. You know what I mean? So that, and knowing that, you know, we know and we've read and we've seen things heal instantaneously and on you know, those things. It's just lacking the belief that we too can do that. Yet we have that ability to.
It's funny. I'd just love to be free of that. Like,
you are free of it. You are free of it. Right here, right now, you are free of it. When that next moment comes, it's whatever you fill the void with, you know? And that's not saying, that's when you're not present, you know? You're thinking about past, or you're thinking about future, fearful. and then that formula goes into the field and plays back to you.
Yeah.
But if you're just here now, it's all irrelevant, isn't it? Like you're all okay. You're sitting in a chair, you know.
Yeah.
And trusting whatever is, and the decision will be whatever. But the reality is, it's and people have talked about a lot about sterileness from, you know, if we're going to look at that aspect of the jam. But the reality is your body is an amazing thing. It can sort itself out. It knows what to do, and if you don't give it any energy, then there's really no need for it to play. The energy of that storyline is already in the field. I'm not denying that, because there's a right to be in the field because the whole field's available, but so is the story of the impossible made possible, the healing, you know, so that's the whole field. Which part of it do you want to play in? You know, you just, until that moment arises, there's nothing to address.
Yeah, cool. That's awesome. Thank you.
Cool. Sheena, she's in her zone. I can see she's in her zone. Unmute yourself so you can share. She's got
in there.
There you go.
A sign came up to say that the host had muted us, and everything went blank. So I'm not sure what happened there.
Oh no, well you're back. I didn't mute you, but but obviously I muted you for a moment in time. But anyway, obviously, have you got any feedback on what you did here?
I'm here now. I'm not even sure. I sort of feel very present. So past and future has just kind of gone whoosh. And it's lovely to just sit here and actually let it all go. So I realized I did have a little vibration of what happened today with my friend who, you know, and I know that's the storyline, who said she didn't agree with my opinion, you know, and I like Vanessa, last week I really felt into this about people making choices or from their beliefs of wanting to be part of a collective, and it sort of really goes back to I saw it as the base chakra energy, you know, that tribal thing where everybody wants to belong to the tribe, and that's where a lot of choices are being made from. And so I did look into that to see where I played and whether I was able to detach from all of that, and I did that quite easily. I felt quite clear on that I wasn't attached to people accepting me or not accepting me, and that was a big shift for me.
Okay, so my next question for you would be to take it to family. So say tomorrow, just for argument's sake, that's not going to happen, but that in a reality where you couldn't be with your family, you're stuck on the other side, and your husband's over there, and your grandchildren are over there, and you're actually stuck in limbo. And how attached are you to have them around you?
Great question. And when I've been to England 5 times on my own to visit my mum, and when I was there, I didn't feel any attachment at all. Basically, I felt like I was in that zone, and they were somewhere else. And so now,
hang on. That's knowing that you're going to come home to them, though. I'm saying not knowing.
True. Yeah, not knowing. I guess it's to actually put myself into that. I probably wouldn't know until I was actually in it to what response I would have. You know, and I did question that today. It's a really good point, because my friend had said, "Oh, you're lucky that you can see your grandchildren. My children wouldn't allow me to see my grandchildren if I weren't vaccinated." And I thought, actually, you know, I think I could be okay with that. And the grace in this is that my sons haven't even batted an eyelid that I'm not vaccinated. They're still sending the children here because I'm very clear on where I'm at. So there's no conflict. And there's a great reflection from them, because they've not even, you know, questioned any of my decisions. They've accepted it.
My big thing is it's not about that, because I think you're reflecting them in your arena. My thing is that if it was removed out of your arena, and like you said, you won't know till you get there. But I think that's what we're dealing with in reality. Is a lot of people are. Some of the stories over here, you know, I think it's a bit of an inconvenience, Murray and I not living together, and you know, I'm graced that I actually have got family here and stuff. There's people over here that have got no one, that are stuck here, and or their husband, they've got no work, or, you know, there's a hell of a lot of other stories. You know, that makes it really interesting to see where we're at with ourselves, like, and then I think about humanity and how many people could offer their, you know, do they offer their homes, or do they offer, you know what I mean? I think I really think it's a great opportunity for humanity to really step up the game without any expectations, and share what we already have. Just no judgment, no nothing. And not saying it's all, you know, and not saying that's just another way to play, but I think it's there's a lot of people that we could be doing that for, a lot of people, which would make imagine putting that energy into the field when what our grandchildren would reap the benefits of, you know. And saying that can change in a day tomorrow, you know, like Rochelle.
I like that. On that note, I have a burning desire to hop in the shower.
Go for it. Yes.
Thank you so much, ladies. Thanks, Allie. I love you.
You're welcome. Thanks for playing.
Bye.
Bye.
So here, Rish.
And I mean, I don't think that's I wasn't being, you know, like a yuck thing, but I mean, I think that's where we really start to recognise where we're not at peace with ourselves, you know, or where we are at peace. And it's not to say you don't get emotion. I'm very grateful. I have family. I'm very grateful I can video call. Very grateful Murray's got work at this point in time. We are, you know, there's a lot of things that but then if those other things change, would just adapt, wouldn't you? You just that's what happens.
That's right.
You know, half these people could end up living in New Zealand, and I might not see Murray for 3 years, who knows? But I might learn to swim. A long way to swim, or take a boat, or get jabbed, one or the other. Who knows? So other than that, you guys, anything else? Gabrielle, you're in the dark.
I know, I've moved into the sunroom. I had lots of visitors. I thought I'd remove myself from their playground. They were playing on me.
Oh, there we go. So maybe a little bit of a summary around it. What you feel now compared to what? Did you have any other questions? Because we kind of just touched on that one, really.
Did I have any other questions?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I actually feel good in this moment. I feel good. I feel like it's been a really beautiful reminder.
Yeah.
And and I feel like I'm back.
It does help to be present, eh? Hey, let's face it, if presence is a place, I've got no idea, but it sounds good. It just keeps it a bit more simplistic. Okay, the doctor in the corner, how's the GP?
I'm okay. What I'm present to is I was slightly triggered by what Gabrielle said at the start about the more she loves herself, the more she loves Fergal.
Yep.
Because what played out for me is that so this is to do with the whole vaccine thing too, is that Greg's really been at me about the vaccine thing, and to the point where there are times when he's actually yelled at me, like, you need to go and get vaccinated, and I can't remember Greg ever yelling at me in 23 years of being married. So that's been an interesting space to play in. So I feel like
okay, so how did it feel? Did it affect you? Like, did you feel it internally when he yelled? Did it ripple, or were you actually just fascinated that he's getting so upset?
So almost two at once. So part of me felt curious.
Yep.
And part of me felt upset that he'd not once asked, why do you not want to get vaccinated?
Okay, go with that question and reverse it to you. Or even think, why does he need to?
Why does he need to?
Even ask you that.
Well, because I just feel like if you cared about someone, you would want to understand where they were coming from.
Yeah. But he cares about you so much he wants you vexed. There's two perspectives of that.
Oh, yes. I did ask him why he wanted me vexed and what he was so scared of.
Yeah. Okay. Now go back to that question again and go back to our conversation on Messenger.
Yeah.
And a sense of belonging. And what was the other stuff? There was another thing you said. Because the thing is, reality. There's those essences in this. This is what I'm saying. The question that he triggered, and your reasoning is that he need, it would be nice that he asked and was curious about that. Who fucking cares? Only you. Do you get it? It's not funny for someone. It's not funny, Ellie. It's not funny. It's not funny. I'm laughing inside and I'm trying not to put it out there. You're making something out of nothing. The whole thing is when we become so much more peaceful at ourselves, it doesn't matter what a husband thinks. Because we're okay. It's all okay.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So he was seeking because you were seeking. He was saying something that was triggering you because it had nothing to do with that scenario and that question. It was what you were wanting from him from that. And that wanting from him comes from not this scenario. It's just stimulated more into this, the vaccine chat.
Yeah.
But it's just showing you that same thing that's in other playgrounds right in this playground. Do you kind of get that?
Yeah, I get that.
Okay, that's cool. Because that's more about it. It's like, so, often Chris will say something and I'll go, I just want to feel significant. Something. Could you acknowledge that, please? it's so humorous. How much, and certain she does personality types. Certain personality types like to be acknowledged or like to have, there's certain things. I challenge that on Carissa about personality types because I think we have all the personality types. I just think one can dominate more than the other when we give it power. So my big thing is that his concern for you was very genuine from his perspective and his playground and his understanding, and that's all that matters to him. Do you know what I mean? That's it. I mean, he cares so deeply about you. That's all he can see. Yet you want to. It's us trying to tell a vaxxed person trying to tell an unvaxxed person the story, or an unvaxxed person trying to tell a vaxxed person the story. They're not going to hear it because they're so much in their fields anyway. But my question is, why do you need to be selling them that story, or why do you need to have a storyline to it? Like someone put up today, you see that people putting up, I've had my jabs, I've had my second jabs. Well, you don't have I've just had my period. I've just gone out and I've just had I think they used as my prostate checked, or you don't see that. It's all a new thing is how many, why. My question is, why do we? It's all okay to do it. I'm not knocking it, but if you've never done it before and you're now playing that, what's it feeding in you? I get there's this love jab thing that I've actually just found. Someone thought I made it, but it's just I just love everybody. Everybody literally mean just it doesn't really matter what you do. But I think what you went through though, Vanessa, is very relevant for what a lot of families are going through that are losing brothers and sisters are fighting and their parents are fighting because over this fucking decision, which really is just do whatever works for you, but don't go making it right or wrong for someone else, because we're just yeah, I don't know. I can't. I've seen so many families just aren't talking, and you know, I've got a blended family that I'd prefer if they didn't. I don't know if the boys have all been done. I don't know, Haiti will probably get done, you know. And it's really just it's what it is, because it's their choice and their playground and their reasoning and their, you know, so you know, some will do it because they want to travel. Would I agree with that in the energy field and what you're going to put out to the future and what you want to give to your children's children and carry on? I don't know. It's just not how I'm choosing to play at this particular moment. But, you know, that moment might come and I might choose to put that in the field. I don't know. So, yeah, I don't think, but I think this is a conscious choice and awareness this is what is bringing the playground that we've been talking about for the last how many years is now becoming more relevant, because we know it's bigger than just a yes or no jab. It's actually having an attachment to what those fields are, and that's actually what's formulating the world and action and play and reflection, you know, the echo of us. And I reckon we're at that point, whether we'll walk through it. I've always felt excited, and I've always felt we will. You know, at the moment, I'm like, fuck, it's a bit of a ride. Like, dude, hold on. Who needs fucking, what do you call them, through those adventure parks? It's just fucking sit in this. But I think that's where it's got to. That, you know, that for me, it's just, I don't know. How does it sit for you, Cara?
How does what sit for me?
Just the whole thing. How does this whole thing, like, what's going on?
Well, I resonate with what you said, that things could just shift really fast. Like there could just be, like the vaccine thing could be just gone in like a month. Like I just, or whatever, like I just have that feeling that things are just gonna.
I've always felt that it'll just go, but it's like, come on.
Yeah.
You wake up each day going,
but that was really good. It was good to sort of say that statement out loud before, that I felt that other people would be okay and be able to clear it, but I wouldn't. But then being free from it, like, because it's based on a past or future scenario.
And again, another room, another reality, but again, more people living in it now. More people play it. The 4-minute mile becomes faster. Do you know what I mean? It gets doable, and then it's just everybody's doing it. And that's the shift and change. And like someone said to me, "Oh, but if they're so programmed this way, like if you're going to look at, we'll use the vaccine. So they're going to look at vaccination, and this is the only way. How can they wake up and think a different way instead? Easy.
Yeah.
Just a thought. Just a change of thought.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's not rocket science. It's not hard. And do they have to go through it? No, they don't have to go through the hard labor of doing whatever to get to that point, because it's already available. That's the shift of consciousness that we're offering them to play in.
Yeah, that's cool.
Not saying that's right or wrong. Do you know what I mean? But it's getting to a point if you want to see how fast it can shift.
When I let all the narratives and the stories and things go, it just, what feels peaceful for me is not to have it. Like that feels peaceful in this moment anyway. Like I liked what Vanessa said, how she's just holding it as a moment to moment thing, and that's what feels peace in my heart. But I guess not being attached.
And peace too is an experience to be had.
Okay.
Another room.
I like that room.
Exactly. Play in the room you enjoy, realizing that there's so many rooms to play in. Summary, Sheena. Summarize something, anything.
Oh wow. I'm in the space of excitement. I really feel this is a fait accompli, whatever it is that needs to be accomplished. I'm seeing that this whole virus vaccine thing is really an agent of transformation in belief systems, and that it's quite a catalyst for challenging people to shift their beliefs in a system that is formulated within them. And I feel that it takes something so huge to actually get them to see what the game that they've been playing and what the alternative is, and to see that the alternative is freedom rather than being locked into their own belief system, and that's projecting itself on the screen now for everyone to see quite clearly for those who are ready to be awakened. I'm not sure if that makes sense.
Yeah. But there's also
how do you feel that?
No, I'd like to, because you actually triggered something. There's also freedom in being kept, like playing how they're already playing, because they feel free. They try, there's there's so many levels of everything. Once you've experienced that, then you find there's more to this, and then the more deeper you go into something. So freedom at the moment, people feel free, even though they could be pretty much handcuffed and not allowed out, and only 15K. But when they really feel the end, I think that's, it's not like, it's like if you took someone who only thought in this box and said freedom to them, their perspective is still boxed. Do you know what I mean? And I think that I'm just saying that just in case somebody listens to this and I do put this up, and I just want to expand that.
I agree with you. I think I needed to perhaps
perfect.
freedom,
Perfect, because we were able to explain that. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Absolutely. Gabrielle,
you wanted a summary.
have we got another hour? I've got me jammies on. What time is it over there? 8 o'clock for you guys. You're still yeah.
I don't think I have anything else to say.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Vanessa, you're right. Do you want to add?
I just want to add that I'm just so grateful to listen to you ramble again. How lovely it is.
Oh my God, I took shit. And please take note that it's just a perspective. Chill the fuck out. It's just a game. Not to be taken too seriously. And maybe we can do it. It was nice to just touch base and reflect over what's probably the big focus. But I think if we can give any suggestion, would be present to drinking that cup of tea and enjoying the hell out of it at the moment, and feeding the field with that vibe. I put my hand up. I get into the conversation that keeps it alive. I absolutely do. I'm not denying it, but it's not. I'd like it to, as a natural format. I've introduced a bit more walking, which has just happened, and that just about null voids an hour. But you can imagine the conversations in my head. But also just today, like I smelt like farm shit, and I was like, "Fuck, that smells so good." And I've walked this track for a little while. I hadn't smelt that. Do you know what I mean? Like, so it's just having that presence in the moment. You're more in the moment when you're passing something and you can smell shit, and it's like, oh God, that smells so good, and just little things like that. I think that's what we fill the field with, and again, a beautiful way to look at formula. With the eco stuff, I think that just the whole chat really flowed from an understanding of who we are. It is really. Rightio. Just
beautiful summary.
I'm just going to end